Oh, what's up? Jared, what's going on, buddy? Mike? Oh, bridge burner. We got a crew. Oh, shoot. Dang. What's everybody up to? I don't know if that sunlight probably gonna blind me. Maybe alright. If I can cock it sideways here. Yeah. It's really cool to see, like, to have 8 people immediately. I'm used to when I do live feeds. Ugh, it's so hot and humid. When I do live feeds, it usually takes a while to get, crew on. But yeah, definitely got a good one this time already. So today we did the inspection and stuff of the rope wrench and the zigzag and went through that. I adjusted some parts and then tried it today and got in a couple pretty sketchy spots and it didn't work right. Turbo's here too. Cool. Right on. Man. It's quality over quantity, definitely, with the crew we got. So it wasn't adjusted right. Like switching to the black rope wrench here, it just I don't know what happened. I kept finding myself now. If you let this thing okay, about right there is where it would be when it was hooked up. Now, if it can just run down, that's a bad thing. And my new climb line, when you get a new climb line, a lot of times they're really, really, really stiff, and it's kind of it doesn't fold and it's not as malleable as a line gets and knottable. After you're using it a few times. So the line being so stiff, I kept finding myself with it being able to do that. Like I would go up and the wrench would not engage. So the reason for that was the gasket, I believe, here. So what I did, actually I'm gonna go ahead and if I can find an end and run the wrench onto it real quick and just kind of see how it responds, because what was happening is I would tend up and then it wouldn't engage and I would go dropping. So I found myself constantly taking my hand and engaging the wrench, which would pinch my hand every single time. Never failed. So yeah, it's always not it's never it's so uncomfortable and sketchy. I hate I hate when your device starts to slip. It's nothing worse. So what I did was when I got home I got to adjusting and let's see. So let's tend up. Instantly engages. Okay. So awesome. Like yeah, I gotta pull like it should work like that. Like I should have to move it. If you're able to just go down and without that engaging, the problem was I had this. This has an adjustable tensioner, so you can get quick action really fast by lifting it, or slower action by lowering it. So I would think that would have to do with your weight. A lighter guy would need a much quicker action. A heavier guy would need less action because his body weight is actually going to engage it more than, the other guy that's real skinny. Both Akimbo and Rope Runner Pro have slipped on me on 2 different ropes. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think it's a new rope thing for me, and I hope that it kind of stops doing it. It did stop. I could feel it getting a little better. At first, it was really bad, but yeah, that's my problem on that. So I love how Greg's made this adjustable, and this piece it just has a couple Allen screws in there. Well, hang on, they're on this side. And this is a 2-piece metal gasket that clamps. Well, it's a clamp, I guess. And then the rubber gasket above. So I lifted it. I doubled it because I like the real strong Gorilla Tape right there. And then the action is so nice now. So it instantly is engaging. where it was not doing that. I was having to go. I was tending up, and then I was going and taking my hand and pushing and engaging, and I would get my hand pinched every time. So yeah, that's Greg Brown's tether. He's a smart guy. Really did a good job with it. Um, and I think dialing that action in for each guy is going to have to, it's a must. It's going to be different from person to person. So I also wanted to, before I catch up on comments, I want to kind of let you guys choose the next video. Um, Whoever gets on the live, we'll have, maybe we can do something like that, like have a say so on what the next video is, kind of give a few options, and then you guys can just kind of decide what you'd rather see first. Um, I have I have one I could do to where it'll show my method when a tree is broken and on like a building, a shed, a house, anything like that. But like the steps that I go through to get it off without damaging anything. And then also I could do one that's just kind of some rigging with a controlled speed line over some residential wires. It's not real long, but it has some like tree transferring in it and some rigging. So it's up to you guys. It's either you can leave it in the comments and I'll give it a couple days. Well, no, I'll give it till noon tomorrow. Whoever comments on this can say what they want to do. It'll either be um, broken or over the wires. So broken limb or broken tree or over the wires. So we'll do like that. Now I catch up on comments, so I apologize. Maybe running a prusik first. A few climbs. Scuff the rope a bit. Yeah, hey, that's not a bad idea. Um, yeah, running a hand extender up. It just using it a few times, just in general, is gonna make it much more, you know, playable. So, but yeah, good idea, Nathan. I think you're on the right track there, definitely. Um, Still on hitchcord myself. I'm hesitant on those mechanical prusiks. I'd like to try one though. I was the exact same way, and Jared, if it wasn't for Jared, I probably would have never used the mechanical, prusik. So that is something that I was sketched out on too, and just for like the fun of it, I think I'm gonna do some like DRT climbing on it, the way it's intended, and maybe do something like that on that new rope until I get it broken to run the wrench and stuff on it. Or I want to go back and try it because it's the exact same rope, but this is just older. It's a little fatter. They get a little swollen. It seems like after you use them a bit. I don't know. We'll see. Bridge burner. I switched to mechanical when I had to do some massive trees going up and down like 5 million times. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Spiking up stuff is tough, and then you find out that SRT and the mechanical devices give you the ability to do the spikeless, where you're not spiking up. Having a spike ascender and a knee ascender will save you a lot on any climb. Even if you're doing a removal and you're headed to the top, a lot of them times climbing up that it sucks. So I throw a spike ascender on, which takes like 2 seconds with the setup that I have, and a knee ascender, which also takes 2 seconds to clip on. So broken tree. Over the wires, power lines. Everyone, mechanics, but I don't know anyone who went back to Fords after. So, yeah, yeah, and Nathan, very good point. Um, my prusiks are always there though, and a lot of times I will. If I'm going to a secondary device, I'll go just regular rope wrench. But like today, I was into one tree, but I needed to float over the wires to get to a dead limb that was up in another. So my grapple hook, it was that day. It was that day. First throw on the throw ball, nailed it. First throw with the You know, the grapple hook, nailed it, and then was able to retrieve it real good. The snake-like shape of my hook is so makes it so easy to retrieve it and get it off the branch because it was on a branch, you know, that was and the hook's barely big enough to go over the branch. It was real tight. I had to clunk it down onto it, but still, after working it for a second, I was able to give it a good whip. It comes out, drops down, and then you just gotta give the rope a twist as you go to pull, like twist your rope a few times and then give it a pull to give it a spin. But yeah, it was fun though. You know, one of them days where you don't have a billion throws that aggravate you and put you in a bad mood. So better love my Kimbo. Yeah, I could see why people love that thing. I would really like to try the bulldog bone, um, because it just looks perfect. It's very small, compact, but does what a wrench does. So um, I think that would be the one I may go for. The bulldog is like the in between of the akimbo and the rope wrench, in my opinion. So Spider Jack is sick too. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people that really like it. So I've heard great things about the rope runners. Guess I'm just going to have to dive in and make the purchase. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would say go rope runner. I I want to try the unisender. So soon as I can get things lined up and kind of get back on my feet, maybe as far as like being able to invest some more. Um, I definitely would like to go to the Unisender. I think that would be my next one because I just if the bulldog bone's not really hard to get, it's always been really hard to get. If it's not hard to get, I may go with that. But yeah, we would just have to see. Have to see when the time comes. Francisco, awesome. What is up, man? Speed line over residential wire. I did that a month ago. Yeah, it works really good. We just ran a controlled speed line and did a really large limb, and the wind was kicking so hard it was like yanking me back out of the tree because I was tied to a different one. So as the wind blew, it wanted to pull me out of the tree every time. But yeah, transferring and then having to traverse another tree, spikeless. So it was a fun one. But I got to explain the details too on like how I traverse with those two devices because it's two different things with the zig or with um, the wrench zigzag combo. I use my foot ascender and a slack tender to advance myself, and that's even if I'm like parallel, I can keep advancing myself. So a foot ascender, and I did all this off of a single rope too. So both devices were ran off of a single rope, and I was able to work the whole thing up. It's pretty tricky, but with the zigzag, it's a little different. You could use a foot ascender. It would help to get extra leverage, but usually you just take and put a hand ascender with carabiner or a pulley and get a 3-to-1 where it comes out. You run it back up through the micro pulley, so it advances you with a 3-to-1. You could use a foot ascender to actually get extra pull, and maybe that would work some. Um, but yeah, I got to explain that. Hopefully, I got some decent shots, and then you know it was tricky but fun. So yeah, I'll tell you what, I will wait till noon before I really get into it. But I think we're gonna go with the wires, just because I feel like the people that show up to the live should get to choose. But I also want to include those who take the time to watch a live after it's already happened, and they lose the chance to interact, which is mainly what these lives are. They lose the chance to interact, but they still watch it. Those people amaze me. So if you're watching this and I've already done this live, I really want to say thanks, and you know that's why I try my best to try to put a little bit of info into it. That way, there is something maybe to get out of it. That's my whole thought process when I do these things. I really kind of bum myself out when I do one that's just blabbing the whole time about BS. I feel like what if somebody tries to go back and watch that and they think there's some info in there they need? And it's just me babbling for hours. So. Okay, I bought a rope runner after a Kimbo slipped, but I don't really like it. I find it way too bulky. It does look very big, you know. So speed line over stuff is always fun. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Bulldog bone looks amazing. Yes, it does. It looks so compact. You know, it's just like that rope runner, but a smaller version, more compact. Oh, someone did. That was Peter, wasn't it? I didn't even realize it. Peter Shea, right? Let's see. Yeah. Oh, what's up, man? Sorry, I didn't even reckon I was just reading comments. I have a Rope Runner Pro, but it's awesome. That's cool. They look really cool. Yeah, Unisender is on the wish list for sure. Yeah, I like a device that, you know, it kind of covers all bases. It can be ran DRT, it can be ran SRT, and it can be attached midline. So you can't really beat that combo right there. But I don't know if I would be the type, like, I need it to be hand action available instead of the wrap the rope around it thing. I don't think I'm really too much a fan of that, but that may be cool. Maybe you know, I need to try. Still use my zigzag though. Yeah, yep, yeah. That's what I'll wear that zigzag till it can't be used anymore. Me, it's been awesome. I didn't really think I would like it. I thought I would try it, but I really do enjoy it. Very, very, very smooth. The trigger action here, after you get used to that finger placement, it's so nice. It's like, and that's why today was a bummer because like it would bite, but it would get in such a bind when it bit, and it was the rope seemed too small. Like as I would go to hit it, it would jump a little. So what I was doing when you get yourself in a position like that, here's a little bit of a tip that I could probably pass on. So you find yourself in a position where your rope is kind of maybe slipping, so your action on whatever device it is starting to slip, um, and it gets jumpy. So when you go to do it, it's like bump, 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 like it dropped a little. So what you'll do is rock climbers do this a lot. It's almost like a belay technique. You'll hold the end of your rope up in the air as you hit that trigger. So what that does is it pulls it up against the pulley. Usually most everything has a micro pulley at the bottom of it, and if you're using Prusik or whatever, but holding that up high will cause a little bit of extra friction there, and you let it kind of slide through your finger as you're going, and just lower yourself down. But that extra added friction will make it so it doesn't get all jumpy on you. So it's just a little bit of a tip. I'm sure anybody that's climbed and done it for any length of time have found themselves in the position where the device is jumping. If you use the device, you realize, oh, maybe I used the wrong rope here. Maybe this isn't going to work. So you got to get yourself down still. The belay technique to keep it from slipping. Lift the bottom of the rope up. Play it high from a high point above the device if you can, and just start to lower down. Or you can hold it out. I see some guys just hold it out. Some put it through like a clip on their hip, and they'll like push up on it, cause a little extra friction. You know, there's a little tweaks to it you could do. But yeah, just that little bit of info. I'm sure that will help somebody one day. 3 to 1 is awesome. So yeah, Yeah, the foot ascender is like a godsend. As long as you got something to tend to slack, able to just single foot ascender, move to, you're traversing, upside down, straight flat, and it'll still go. So yeah, the foot ascender being able to help is so cool. Um, Trip on the Barbie tonight. 80 here in Michigan. Feeling. Oh man, that's cool. Yeah, I think it's probably close somewhere around there. It was pretty hot. I hurt my knee, my good knee, a few days ago, and I thought it blew out. So I haven't touched the skateboard or nothing. So I went out and skated for a second before this, and then I had to. My wife's truck, the window just like I guess the motor's burnt up in it or something. The window just dropped, so I had to go fix it, which meant I had to take her whole door apart and then put it all back together because I can't. I got the window up, but I can't fix the motor right now until I buy a new one, switch it out. So then I had to put the whole door back together just so I can take it apart again. But I put it back together in like 5 minutes, so I'm getting pretty good at it. Turbo, you're pretty sweet too, dude. I'm not that cool. I'm just very giving with anything that I know. I try, at least. You care about Oh, cool, Nathan. Dude, I dig that. Like, there's a few of you that make every bit of the time spent worth it. And it doesn't take like, I don't need thousands and thousands of subscribers. You can see, like, I have to be content with videos that I feel like are great, that I spent a lot of time on editing and putting together, like the last one. I always get like, you should make longer videos. I wish they were longer. So I put a 20-minute, well, it's only like 19 minutes. I put a 19-minute video out. It like tanks and gets no views. So, but I know those faithful watched it. Their views are there, and they're always there. And you guys are awesome. I appreciate the hell out of it. Definitely keep the channel going, and it doesn't require like I don't need to do this and like have super chats and this and that and like money's not what'll keep the channel going. Like, you guys' interest, as long as there's somebody interested in listening, it gives me an outlet. So that's probably it would probably always keep going. So I got off topic, but Peter says, let's see, hang on, I skipped one. I appreciate it. Ah, cool, Nathan. I use a hand extender with pulley attachment, so I have self-tending 2-to-1. I use a hand extender with pulley attached, so I have self-tending. Oh. Okay, so you're using like a Blake's Hitch taut line, but you're using the hand extender micro pulley to advance it? Am I getting that right? I finally realized the 5-inch lanyard is much better on the hands than a half-inch. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it depends on the person. If you got big hands, definitely a bigger rope would probably feel a lot better. I was just saying, I still use mine zigzag. Oh man, yeah, they're awesome. It's a very smart device. Whoever came up with it is pretty smart fella. Hit 90 today, Mike says. Great up. It's my roof. I have to change it definitely. Right on. Yeah, like with zigzag two turbos. I watch the movement. Ah, ground. I know you do. I know you do, ground pounder, and I appreciate it. I really, really, really do. I've learned a lot from this. Oh, hang on. Ah, turbo. That's cool. That then, if somebody got something from it, then that fulfills me enough that I can be okay with a lot of videos that I feel like should be very popular, and watching them tank, because more often than not, that's what happens. The views aren't. I have way more subscribers than I used to have, but I have a lot of times I have way less views. So just it is what it is. Okay, what rope is everyone using with the zigzag? I got. Gotta get a new one. Um, Tuffelberger Tachyon Ash is what I normally use, and it works really good. Really, really, really good. And, Tuffelberger's a killer rope company, period. Um, you could go with All Gear. They make a rocket line. They make the Cherry Bomb. They make a Mardi Gras. Um, and I've noticed August is he said something about they may be selling them now, All Gear ropes. So maybe able to get them through him, or I know you can just order them. But I use a lot of All Gear products, so. Max rate is amazing with the rope runner. Really? Well, I have to look into that one. Greg, what up, man? Learn a lot as well. A lot of guys aren't forthcoming with knowledge. With Merlot, gravel truck, spider lift. Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, if I'm honest, I get where they're coming from. Them guys that don't give it up, I do understand it. I do understand it from a competitive point. I really do. Um, would I? Okay. The thing would I just randomly teach all the people that live around me? Yeah, yeah, I think I would. More I think about it, and I've had a couple guys that like I give my time to, and if they needed it, I would help. But I get where they're coming from. Some of them may have, maybe they're new to it. Maybe it took them a little while. Maybe they didn't really have anybody teach them. They had to learn everything the hard way. So they're like, no one helped me. I'm not helping anybody. Um, Maybe they have a son that they want to pass it all down to, so they're not giving it away to everybody else. I have my daughter, and that's it. So I don't have anybody to give any of this to. So YouTube it is. Right on, Thomas. No problem. Remember what rope I used, and for the life of me, I can't remember. Well, there's Adrenaline that a lot of people like. Um, August just used a new one called Scandinavian, or I don't even know. I believe it's a Teffelberger rope though, but you could go with a Tachyon Ash, or Tachyon Poison Ivy. I think it's Poison. Yeah, and that's a cool looking rope. I was actually looking to get that one when I got my Tachyon Ash. They didn't have the Poison Ivy, or I would have got it. That's an awesome looking rope. Climber Clint, what's going on? Did I miss a comment or something, Clint? I was self-taught. Oh, really? That's cool. That's really cool. Now, when traversing, I'll use a hand extender with a pulley bolted to it. I put it ahead of me on the traverse line and then feed it to. Yep. Yep. Yeah, that's exactly the same system that works with the Grigri. So on that system, you don't even have to use the pulley. And also, I see a lot of guys when they put that hand extender there, they put the pulley down at the bottom. There's a hole up at the top that will actually lock the hand descender into the rope, so the hand descender can't come off, and it'll give you this much more length in every thrust. So double that because the rope's doubled, and you get this much more movement on every turn by moving the pulley from the bottom of the hand descender, which down here, moving it up to here. And it will align things better too. It won't have the two ropes so close to each other to where they're fighting. It'll keep it kind of cocked out to the side. So you may try that if you don't already do that. That'll help some. That's really cool though, Turbo, if you're self-taught, man. 90% of my work is done by my bucket truck. Made sure it was short, was 4x4, and then go to places that matter. I threw myself into the Lions pit, per se, and been going strong for 12 years. That is really cool. I dig, like, I wish there was just a place so like, you could just read people's stories. And, like I used to really enjoy, um, when Educated Climber would interview random climbers. Like, there's some of them most of them he interviewed, like I already knew their story. There's a lot of other guys that I would have liked to have known the story of, but yeah, it's always cool. It's always cool. Every story is always different. No one has the same story. I have a long, okay, let's see. I have a long lanyard with the Zillion, so if I throw my grapple on that, it's even better with no setback. Yeah, I could see. I could see that as long as that's not. Oh, it's if it's secondary. If it's secondary. Watching and riding, almost home. 5 minutes. Yeah, right on. Clint, hope you had a good day, buddy. Hopefully it wasn't too rough. The easiest though. No, Turbo. But you can take pride in knowing that you earned everything. Like everything. And that's why I'm okay with giving away what I give away because like no one helped me. My dad taught me the basics and the basics got me by forever. So, I owe him a lot, but after that, the only people I owe any credit to are those that have helped my career like here on YouTube, like Greg and Jared and there's guys way back like Corey McDivitt and it goes on and on. Bridge Burner's been great. There's guys like Scoot. And I could sit here for an hour and name them off that, you know, have just decided to support a little channel like this. And it's cool. It's cool. Because I don't know where to go with the channel if I'm being honest. I think I'm coming to a crossroads though, and I don't know what to do. If you don't change things up, I feel like maybe I haven't changed things up enough, and that's where things have changed as far as views and stuff. It's like I'll always do what I do, but I feel like I'm gonna have to widen my horizons as far as like content and what I'm doing, and try some new things, and throw a bunch of stuff at the wall and see what sticks. I don't know. I mean, I would spend my time doing a Q&A. Like basically this channel is a Q&A channel. Like if you had a question and you needed help, you could always leave it in the comment of any video and I'll spend my time trying to help, So but I know I can't like grow a big channel and turn it into anything like that. So and if that it goes that way, eventually it gets to a point where it's overwhelming, but I'm nowhere near that. So that's where I feel like I can still look straight into the camera at all you guys and be like, I'll answer anything you got. I'm kind of an open book and willing to give what I got. So I agree with Ground Pounder, Turbo. I agree with exactly what he just told you. I do that technique with my that's my ID. Yeah, yeah, Jared. It's that ID is really cool. They basically took the gree and rebuilt it and bulked it up, but then took it from a horizontal design to a vertical design, which I don't. I think I like. I think I like. I've never seen one so up close, like to see where it engages, where the cam. Because I imagine it has to be a loaded cam system that opens up with faceplate, puts stuff in there, goes back up. But I imagine it looks too close to not be. It's got to be a loaded cam system, but I've never seen where the cam actually engages on it. But the design and the look of it, and I can see why they would take it and turn it vertical. Looks like a really cool device, if I'm being honest. Peter, right on. Yeah, yeah. I had issues with like some of the older, like I don't have them now. Like my hand descenders don't, they don't kick off. Mine have double locks, like a thumb lock. They're the CMI hand descenders, so it's a thumb lock then trigger. So I used to have a hand descender that would pop off all the time, but if you put a carabiner, clip it in, it actually locks it in. Same way with some guys will put a little carabiner in their foot ascender to keep it from kicking out when you used to have the panting and stuff like that. So, oh, we got William. You slid in on us. I'm gonna cut this in just a few, but I'll hang around for a few more minutes. My pleasure, Turbo. I built my own spikes 40 years ago. Yes, that makes me old. Ha! And you know what? I bet you they were damn good spikes too, because like I could legit go through my truck and start throwing, like I wouldn't throw it. I don't know why I just said that. Start setting stuff on the ground that Greg has given me. Like the bag that my stuff goes in was from Greg. Both of these wrenches, the tethers, are from Greg. My axe, my bollard that is like one of the main pieces to what I do. Um, I could go on and on. So I'm sure they were awesome spikes too. I would like to see them one day. Crap tree removal specialist. I passed a. Oh, you know what? Okay. This is awesome. So like, I'm a pretty calm guy, but I am a like I'll lose my shit if I feel disrespected. That's just me. You know, I take my work very very serious, so I may come off a little stern at work sometimes, but I'm a pretty easygoing person, and but I do take my work very very serious, maybe too serious sometimes. But I didn't I only get mad usually if I feel disrespected. So we're on our way to work, or actually we were cruising like I don't know, we're like 45 minutes away from home. And we were trying to go check this tree and on our way there, and I going through this crazy neighborhood. I'm way out of where I live. You know, it's not where I live. The speed limit says 35, so I'm cruising like 40. And there's this little white car. It's like it keeps riding my ass the whole time, and like I could see him back there making his hand gestures and stuff. But I'm like, it is what it is. I'm going 40, and like I'm not getting a ticket in your town. Have to come all the way back up here to pay a damn ticket. So I'll do the speed limit, and you're like lucky that I'll go over 5 because I see you're in a hurry. So like this goes on for a long time. I find myself going from 40 to 45 back down to 40 to 45, back down because I'll accidentally get to going too fast. I'm like, I don't want to take it. I slow down. Then we finally get to the end of this road and we're making a right, and the car behind us, right as we're getting up to the intersection, I hear a honk, like he's honking, and I'm like, I look over at Dave. I'm like, that guy honking at us? And he's like, or he asked me. I said, I think so. And I was like, hey, hang on, he's pulling up next to us. I was like, let's see what the deal is. So I don't look at him. I just kind of watch out of the corner of my eye. I have my window down. So I'm like, I can see that he's not like, hey, man, like, because like at one point I ran over a curb like an idiot, and when I was going through the town to this little roundabout thing, and I thought maybe he was honking to tell me, hey, your tire's messed up or this or that. But my truck was fine. He pulled up next to me, and I'm watching my corner of my eye. He's not trying to get my attention, but I hear, let me get this right first. Um, you need to learn how to you need to learn how to fucking drive, you fucking idiot. And I'm like, whoa. So everyone my window down, I lean out, and I'm like, what'd you say? You talking to me? And he goes, yeah. You need to learn how to drive. Slow fuck. And I'm dumbfounded because this guy is on an excessive amount of amphetamines, and it's obvious. He's twacked out of his mind, and I'm like, listen, you freaking crackhead. The speed limit is 35, and I was going 40. Piss off. And so he gets me like all heated, and then as I'm like crack my door open to step out, of course he's got his foot on the gas pedal. He guns it and gets out of there. And then like I think about it afterwards. I'm like, I should probably not be so quick to get out. I'm gonna end up getting shot one of these times, especially going up towards St. Louis and stuff. But yeah, that dude got me in such a funk. He had me so pissed because it takes so much to get me there, but then after I'm there, it takes me like even longer to come back out of it. He could have said learn how to drive, fucking running over curbs and shit. Like, and I would have to take that. I mean, I would have to take that. I did run over a curb. I was an idiot. But he called me a slow fuck. And I'm like, listen, it's I'm going 40, it's 35. Like, I don't know what else you want, you crackhead. Like, at any point, we were on like a 2-lane highway, kind of out in the country, has full shoulders on each side, and I kept getting to the right to let him pass me. He had plenty, like, half the time he could have passed me. He just chose not to. Then he called me a slow fucking. I'm getting old, and I don't like being called that, and so I guess I took it personal. And I got all butthurt. It ruined the beginning of my day, and I don't like that. So, yeah, I just figured I'd tell you. So. That's awesome, Clint. That's awesome. I'm catching up on some comments here about your crew. That's good when you got a good crew, dude. You can't ask for much more. There's a lot of people that want to start climbing right away. How long do you think they should be on the ground? Um, I think they should learn how to run ropes, and to the point where they have ropes pretty much mastered, and also that understanding of how a rope runs, like what gets done, learning the knots, and also using the chainsaw and mastering it on the ground before like you ever even like I think you should if you want to climb for fun afterwards, you should be able to do that whenever you want. But if you're working for a company, don't get frustrated because they just don't throw you up in a tree immediately. I think you need to earn it, and you need to show them like you're very competent with a chainsaw and running ropes, because there's your two things that you're really going to need for the trees, and then show them, hey, I'm not afraid of heights and I can do this. So I would say for most, that's going to vary, Francisco, from person to person, but I'd say most can show that and accomplish that in maybe a year. You know, if they're really into it, I think they could do it in a year. I like my cherry bomb rope, Dan. It is probably one of my favorite ropes. Jesus, all the ground before going to shoot with it. Heh. Ground pounder, me and you are very alike. Agree, ground. You gotta master that thing on the ground before you try to take an ear. Greg, you need to dig them up one day, though. I just want to see them, like a picture of them. Yeah, you guys. I just now got to where you guys are talking about the crackhead I ran into. Like, damn, he could have told me that I suck at driving and that I run over curbs, and I would have took that. Ew, I wouldn't have liked it, but I would have took it. But he called me slow, and I was going over the speed limit, and I was like, I'll smack your mouth. And so I threw my door open, and I went to like go to his passenger side door. Like that's the only thing I can think of. Like I'm gonna reach through your passenger door, and I'm gonna drag you out that some bitch. Like I don't like that. You can't say whatever you want. I know people say that you can say whatever, but you can't say whatever you want. There's repercussions, especially when you're way out in the country with a bunch of hillbillies. So that's all I got to say about that. Picture of me in the tree on my Instagram has them. But that's awesome. That's awesome, Greg. Definitely a real positive. Just tell them I may be slow, but I'm ahead of you. I know. I. That's. And then on the, it's something about that road because on our way back, a different car got behind us, and they did this like the whole time, and like, so what we did is we drove by, every time like I would purposely get my truck up to like 40, and then we would get to where we're almost at the speed limit sign, and then I would have Dave lean his arm out and point at it, and I would lean because they were looking at me in my mirror, and I would lean and I would point at it, and we'd draw a bunch of attention, like, oh, check it out, oh, 35. So I would slow down, I'd hit my brake, and then they would, so we had fun with the second one, but you can't get mad. Go around if you don't like it. If you wouldn't have done all this, I'd have got over on the shoulder and I'd have let you go by because I could tell you're in a hurry. I do that. But you take for granted that I'm an asshole like you, so you instantly start doing your little hand gestures, and that could get you smacked. So don't do that. Welcome to Jeffco. Yeah, I know. Is to not get angry, but to learn to see the humor in how aggravated they are. Changed my life. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Like you I don't know. I'm different, man. Like there's certain points where I'm like, I'm okay. You can disrespect me. Like, but I feel like if you disrespect me, don't be surprised if I try to beat the respect into you. Like that's an even trade. Like you for no reason disrespected me. So if I decide I don't like that, maybe this like if I put my hand across your chops, do you respect me a little then? Like I don't see that being so crazy, but I grew up in a different world, man. Like when I ran my mouth as a little kid, older men would yank me up and smack me around. So like I told an older dude, suck it, flipped him off. They pulled around and tried to beat the piss out of me. So like it's different nowadays. And you have to remember, I may not come off as an old man, but I'm an old man. So like certain things that I'm probably gonna think are okay to do nowadays aren't. So I'm okay with it though. Can't let those people get to you. I live close to New York City, and those people were rushing and all. Yeah, yeah. We kind of had fun with the second one. Like I wouldn't have got mad at the first guy if like he'd start cussing me and don't get aggressive with me. Like if you get aggressive with me, like if you just wanted to tell me like what for and like laugh at me and like, but don't act like I'm lucky that you don't get out and smack me. And I'm like, really? Hang on. Like, you've gotten away with this one too many times. Let me introduce you to how things are supposed to go. And I feel like sometimes I should be that guy to Like I give enough lessons away. Like I should be able to teach someone a lesson every once in a while. That's not right. I shouldn't do that. But I feel that way sometimes. Steve, what's up? Guys, I appreciate the hell out of you guys hanging out. You see these saws up here? I need to get this one. Check this out. A 200 up there runs good. But check this saw. Oh no, I just got oil all over my leg. Steelborn Special. 026, bro. Blacked out. Have some carb issues that I'm dealing with. But I get them figured out. I gotta get this damn oil off my leg. Guys, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. As always. I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of my night with my wife. Thanks. Thanks for hanging out. Maybe you got something from this. Maybe you didn't. Maybe it was just fun to hang out for a little bit. I'm cool with that too. But I believe you guys have decided we do the over the wires. Then we'll do the broken on the building tree afterwards. So be expecting that. I'll get to work on it as quick as I can. Unless for some odd reason we get a ton of comments that say the opposite. But I think if I agree with you guys, if I had to choose between the two, I probably would have chose that. So if you look back, I gave way more details and like made it sound way better than I did this one. Like I almost wanted you to pick it. So, yeah. Catch you next time. Thanks for hanging out. Stay safe and just stay safe. That's it. I'll catch you next time.